People who have cheated before? Why did you do it? He cheated first, and I was young, petty, and thought revenge would make me feel better. Unbridled ego, unsatisfying regular sex life, and a girl who threw herself at me. I was an idiot. I acted like an asshole, and I will regret it the rest of my life. It was a hard truth to face. It was a dark time in my life where my ego and my immaturity caused me to hurt several people I loved. Fortunately, I learned from it, and while I can't take back the pain I caused, at least now I know what I am, 100% capable of being an asshole, and so can choose not to be one. Insecurity. I was always on the lookout for someone who would make me feel more desirable than the last. Once I grew up emotionally, I realized what a POS I was and the hurt it caused. Hard to live with, TBH. Can I just make it clear I was not a serial adulterer? It was a youthful lack of judgment. 100% pure lust. That's it. I'm not proud of it. And willing partners. It was amazing how many times when I did have a steady girlfriend, I would suddenly get propositioned by random women, or worse yet, my girlfriend's friends or sisters. Too many times to be a fluke. It was like they figure if you are in a relationship you're worth pursuing. But when I was single, most times I couldn't get a woman's attention. So it was an ego boost, but ultimately I decided to be a better person. And like some have said, I met a person who I truly thought was the one, and to a certain extent I did. It just didn't last through no fault of my own. When you grow up being in turn neglected and told you're not good enough, validation is like a drug, and intimacy is the ultimate validation. So much therapy to undo this. I'm just recently realizing how I didn't receive enough attention and validation from my parents and how much it's influenced my choices. Meeting someone and having them be into me physically is the easiest validation boost I can find. People who grew up with parents actually interested in them and with an instilled sense of self-confidence don't know how good they have it. I don't inherently feel important or relevant, so I'm always looking for someone to tell me otherwise. Because I was a fucking asshole 20-year-old who only thought of himself and getting some action. The high of it, 0.37 now. No cheating since then. My ex was done in the bedroom and even said they were no longer interested in me physically, sexually. I should have left at that point, but with kids and the financial hit of divorce, I just looked to fulfill that need. I later divorced, and it was a big financial hit. But oh my God, what a relief it was getting out. Getting out of an abusive relationship is where the true pleasure comes from. My partner cheated on me shortly after I had his baby. I wanted to leave, but I convinced myself to stay. The logistics of having a baby and 24-hour care are challenging on your own. He refused to have sex with me. At some point, someone got me in a weak spot. Somewhere between exhaustion, low self-esteem, and the sheer opportunity of having an orgasm were too strong for me. I'm deeply ashamed. Shortly after I picked myself up and the relationship ended, I should have left sooner. Someone telling you that you are beautiful, talented, and special after being invisible can feel like a drug. I don't expect sympathy from anyone for my actions, but I do have a lot of sympathy for others now. Because I chose a cowardly and easy path. Instead of going to therapy and ending my toxic relationship, I cheated on them with someone who I had convinced myself I was in love with, and loved me. Turns out, breaking up with someone is a lot less harmful to everyone involved than cheating. Not me, but a guy friend cheated, and the reason he gave was that he loved his fiancée. But they had very different sex drives. He also said that when he brought it up to her, the difference in their sex drives and the problems it would cause, she begged him not to leave and insisted it wouldn't be an issue. He told her it already was an issue. And, as a last resort, she said she would understand if, someday, he felt the need to look elsewhere, just as long as she never found out. My wife wasn't around. The house was empty. I couldn't wait for her to get home, so I watched an episode without her knowing. Honey, if you're reading this, I'm so sorry.